Do you think they're going to go with here? The Nike has to take a step back.
And this makes sense because we saw the strategies from Obey, and since Obey and NRG are the scrim partners together, they do a lot of similar things, specifically running Nike in the jungle. So smart homework coming out of Luminosity.
Luminosity's bans right now are basically directed right at Obey, knowing that Obey and NRG are those scrim partners, like you said. They're basically saying, hey, they're going to be running the same strategies. We saw NRG play a little bit earlier, and they were running the same strategies as Obey.
Also, taking away the Sylvanas, great success rate, I would say, this whole event with the Sylvanas, so Luminosity though. But immediately after this, you gotta fight fire with fire, sustain with sustain, picking up the ROP, and now prioritizing the soul. A lot of damage coming out of that Magical Hunter. Do you expect this to stick with Emilito?
Yeah, Emilito really known for that soul, one of his more comfortable characters. Not only that, it's also one of Barracuda's best and most comfortable characters. Being able to take that away from him while giving it to your team is great. Also, we know that Barracuda actually likes the soul in the Jingwei matchup, which means he's probably not going to lean towards that Jingwei right now because he knows that's a losing matchup for himself.
But if they don't pick it now, it will be banned away from them, so it's curious to see how Luminosity are going to adapt to this. Now they're locking in Nuwa, and with the Sylvanas, we've seen how difficult it is to get to that mid-mage whenever you have a Sylvanas to deal with. But like what you mentioned before, Jingwei gonna get locked in.
He picks up that Jingwei, yeah. I mean, Barracuda, one of the best players in the world, particularly when on a world stage. He loves to perform at a LAN. Jingwei, she's the strongest hunter, let's be real. She's been the strongest hunter basically for the entire year. One of those, even if the matchup is weak against Soul, which is not his favorite, still you can fly her on the map and you can try to bring it to the team fight.
And anytime Jeff Hilla wants, he could just lean on that lane a little bit harder. He also has Xenotronics in the mid lane playing this global Nuwa. So potentially, if Barracuda finds any small marginal gain, he could look for an offensive opportunity against Emilito. And we've been known to see him in the past play aggressively, so we could see some fireworks in that duel lane, especially the way the meta has developed over Worlds so far, where there's just been more action on the opposite solo side of the map.
Lots and lots of action, especially in the early parts of the game here at Worlds. We have Ratatasker and Thor off the table. Both characters extremely good at that level 1 fight. Ratatasker targeted right at Mass. We know he's one of the better Ratatasker players in the world. And of course, the Thor ban for shots at adapting.
And that's what you have to do. You don't ban out adapting in the first phase because his Scott pool is just so immense. Now you got your core 3 guys that you wanted between Sylvanas, Nuwa, Jingwei, and now you're like, okay, well, what is going to counter us? Obviously, the global pressure from adapting is too much to handle with, and obviously Circuit going to limit a lot of the sustain options from Sylvanas, so taking that off the table. And now it's time for NRG for their 4th pick, and it is going to be the Awilish, something that adapting really likes to do early on.
One of his favorite picks. We've seen him perform already on this god during this tournament. No surprises here. It's one of his favorites. He does an immense amount of damage, and he always hits the knockup. You'd think it'd be impossible, but he has like a 90% rate knockup. I totally made that stat up, but that's what I'm allowed to do.
It's Gandhi stats right there. But now Mercury, though, being locked in for Masks. That's a lot of mobility there for the jungler coming out of Luminosity. So now, between the Amaterasu and the Mercury, they're going to be able to get deep in the backlines, and now it's here being locked in for Dimmy. This is so important for NRG to save that last pick solo for Dimmy.
NRG's team comp is looking especially scary right now. You know that's exactly the composition that they were looking for, and for them to get their exact draft, I mean, that's pretty hard going against the world champions with their preferred draft.
I'm really scared right now because Dimmy has tier.
Why would LG allow that real quick?
At this point in time, they just wanted to get their core roster online. They were not really focused on the solo lane. They wanted to get a safe one with the Amaterasu, allow Scary D to get to the mid to late game, and maybe they're going to camp his lane, actually, I think.
Okay, well, guys, predictions. Go, quick.
NRG.
NRG.
Whew. Oh, man. Well, the desk is unified here. Let's see how it all goes down, folks. This is our 2nd semi-final matchup. It doesn't get any better than this. NRG from Europe, LG from North America. Who comes out on top? Only one way to find out. Casters, over to you.
Thank you, analysts. NRG on the stage. NRG here in the crowd as the hometown heroes Luminosity take on the defending world champions NRG Esports.
I mean, this is the truest underdog story you could probably get in SMITE at this World Championships. I mean, Luminosity should not have even made it here. They only won 2 games, I believe, in their wild card, and it was Yeppe here, Mr. Trixtank, and his Orbit boys that actually were able to win the final game against Flashpoint and allow LG to make it here.
But Luminosity's, meanwhile, they've been here. They really proved themselves, and I think they might be able to take off the games of NRG.
I think the talking point this game, going into just this initial phase, has got to be the Mercury being pulled out here by Mast.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a spice pick, but on the other hand, like NRG have all their comfort picks. Adapting normal on Willix, and every single guard on NRG's side is just comfort.
And you can see Talaria boots picked up by Mask. And this is one thing that we've started to see here in this tournament is this boot start. And you can see on the other side, NRG, they've got 3 players that have started boots 3 right away. We've seen the strategy from Obey as well. Clearly, they're scrim partners. They've been practicing both of this.
Also, Emilito started the full boot, so I'm confused. Maybe he will not have the same sustain as Barracuda will have with the death toll. So I think that matchup is going to go in hand of Barracuda.
And, you know, getting Barracuda ahead early is not really a great strategy to have, but across the board, you have to think NRG matches up better in the other 3 lanes.
Right, and Barracuda know that matchup out, and then he's been playing so much himself, so he's for sure ready for this.
Well, double invade coming out from both teams. Xenotronics and Barracuda going to be pushed down on the left-hand side. Trouble for Xeno. He's actually getting body blocked by iRapper. 1 hit. It's over Yaman. First blood for NRG.
Yaman through the wall there with the Celestial being pixel perfect hit there by the mid laner of NRG.
What an amazing beat coming out for Rafa. This is a huge gap they're getting in the early game. If they keep this up, this is going to be hard times for Luminosity.
And you have to think as well, Nuwa struggles a little bit in the early game.
Right, and now getting first blooded, this is going to be horrible.
That was one of the more surprising things, as Mast in a little bit of trouble as well. He is going to be able to escape into his jungle. Jeff Hindla just rotates in, but this Nuwa pick, not the strongest early game. She's very hard to get going.
And Mercury is also itself not really good early game. I would have loved to see a little bit more pressure in the mid lane, but if they can draw this game into the mid game, they might be able to get back on track.
Despite the fact of the double invade there, both sides have got their speed and blue buffs. Red buff remains from both teams, so how much farm has really been lost?
But it's not that, it's just Yaman is so far ahead at this point. Having all the mid control, they're going to get both of the mid camps, and they're just going to keep continuing this mid aggressiveness, and it's going to really hurt Luminosity.
The real question here is going to be the next spawn of the buffs. You can see the red buff for LG actually picked up very late. NRG not even picking theirs up, but you have to expect NRG getting that first blood, forcing Xenotronics back. They're going to look for the speed buff invade. I don't think Xeno will be level 5 by the time it spawns.
Even if NRG didn't get the first blood, they would still be looking for the invade. They know Nuwa is weak early game, and Mercury as well, not the best. So overall, I think we're gonna look at an invade later on.
And you can see Scary D just getting bullied out. We haven't seen Dimmy on his tier in quite some time, but just like Variety, one of the world renowned as one of the best tier players in the world. Last World's actually phenomenal performances on it.
And one thing that's allowed Luminosity to have a little bit of success over these last few days has been Scary D really stepping it up in the solo lane. If NRG shuts him down, it's just going to make it so much more difficult for Luminosity, you'd think.
And I love the pickup from IREF for getting the Talaria boots early and right into the Watcher's Gift. Now he's going to get efficiency off the wave, and in that early game where they were fighting all the time, he got all the gold.
Erlong is so good from ahead, and this is the combination that we really saw Eager kind of bring to light at Super Regionals in Group B, is this Erlong Raw combo. It's very scary to play against, and it's mostly around baiting out relics as much as possible, utilizing not only Erlong, but also a Wheelish as well to pin people in place. And you either sit there and purify, and they're going to do it again with the Raw Snipe, or you try and hope that Yaman's not ready for it.
Left-hand side, a little bit of a boxing match there. Emilutu looked to get some poke damage there onto Barracuda, but Barra, knowing this matchup, plays it perfectly.
Barracuda, you know, he's actually preferred the Soul over the Jingwei. He actually likes almost baiting other teams into picking the Jingwei early. Dash forward from iRaptor though, knock up onto Jeff Hindla. Could be a little bit of trouble.
Stunned in there, in goes Mask there. They're looking for the pickup here. The snipe comes through. It's onto Jeff, but Jeff's so healthy at this point with the protections coming out of the Wisps.
That almost went bad for NRG. iRaptor using his dash into the enemy team of Luminosity is not the best idea. He had no getaway before, but just a great show from iRaptor for keeping him alive.
And this is another thing that's going to be trouble for Xenotronics on this new wall. you know, against a healing composition, not that strong. A lot of times you'll see Nuwa's late game. We haven't seen her in quite some time, but, you know, almost in the middle of the fight, actually popped their ultimate, not only for vision, but just a ton of just AoE teamfight guaranteed damage to bait out relics or just get players low enough.
Right, and with the Ra, they can basically just heal all the damage up. I'm not sure why they picked the Nuwa into the Ra, because Ra's overall is really good against it.
We saw the right-hand side mid-camps there fall in the way of Luminosity. You know, before we were saying that with the pressure NRG was able to get earlier, we thought they'd have these mid-camps down secure.
Yeah, but because of iRefer's early mistake in the mid lane, they got a room, and so they could take these mid-camps.
And yeah, I mean, I do like what NRG were going for. They were trying to pick Jeff Hinlow, who is obviously caught there in the mid lane, doesn't have a lot of protections online right now. Mass charging his ult here, and he's going straight to the back line.
Taunt in there from iRefer onto 2 members. There's the ultimate coming out of Emilito. Jeff Hinlow low. Jeff Hinlow's going to fall down there to adapting. Mistake there from Luminosity.
And that was just Jeff Hinlow not expecting 4 men to be there. And basically everybody just collapsed on him when the Mercury went in. Really good play by NRG.
And Xenotronics can't really do a lot in that situation as a Nuwa. She's almost, I almost feel like Nuwa is better when she's actually on the defensive end, especially against melee gods who are going to jump on her and she can explode her clay soldiers.
Yeah, Nuwa actually have to be a little bit closer than other mid laners, so the fact that he's so far away from NRG in that fight just makes him useless.
And in the meantime, you have obviously Yaman, who's able to just sit really far behind those mid harpies. He's able to be in a pretty easy position, and really it's going to come down a lot to Mask being able to dive onto him in the back line and deal with them.
Yeah,
a lot of damage onto Dimmy here. Here comes Scary D. Ultimate forced out of Dimmy, just barely getting away there.
Just off the mark there, but this is great for Scary D. He's actually gone for the Wrath here, so the fact that he's not getting bullied out and Dimmy's invested in the TP early, heading into these speed buff spawns soon, if LG can stay even in the mid lane, they might actually start to invade themselves.
And we've mainly been talking about Jeff Hinlow and Barracuda when it comes to Luminosity, but Scary D at this World has been doing so great. He's solid, he's been doing good, he haven't really been doing anything bad, and right now he's doing really good against Dimmy.
I mean, those were the 2 question marks on this LG lineup. We knew Barra and Jeff were great. Mast proved himself for sure in the final parts of the fall split, you know, the SPL, but Scary D was just so inconsistent. Same with Xenotronics, and both of them have been relatively solid, I think, and Scary D actually better than a lot of the opponents he's been facing off against.
Look at Master, he's in the solo and goes in with the Sonic Boom there. They're looking for Dimmy. Dimmy actually gets a fearless up onto Master, completely nullifies the gank.
Yeah, he missed, but this is what Master want to look for. He want to go behind the tower, ult up through the lane, and look for those picks.
Oh, Emilito trying to find Barracuda backing there. But one of the things, too, is that Dimmy, you know, he had just used his teleport, so it was on cooldown. Okay, Yaman. Not enough damage just yet. You could see picking up the Dynasty Plate helms. If he had Magi's online, probably would have been a kill.
And NRG right now finding themselves 1K ahead. They really need to push this lead, because when the Nuwa gets online, it's going to be trouble for NRG.
And not only that, you know, Mercury late game has some disgusting crits.
Right.
Gold Fury started up by NRG, and LG nowhere close. Look at this, actually. Luminosity focused on those right side Harpies and invading onto the speed. They still don't know this is going on. I think they would have already been to the speed buff.
And this is what you can do when you have the dual lane control, the ADC control, and this meta is all about being in the solo lane, and that's what LG are. NRG taking perfect advantage of it and just taking that goal for it.
Lack of wards on the map too, and you can see the speed buff not even being able to be invaded. If LG knew that Gold Fury had 3 members of energy on it, they would have taken the speed, the blue, and probably tried to force Dimmy out as well.
At this stage of the game, though, how valuable is a Gold Fury?
I mean, it's not as valuable as it is. If NRG lost all their right jungle, it probably would have been as worse, but Adapting got his speed buff, so it's just fine.
And Adapting is just going to keep putting the pressure on. Actually, that red buff's about to spawn here, and I think NRG, once they see it pop up, because Adapting did just get vision on it, they might rotate, but unfortunately Adapting is going to back to base just as that red spawns.
Emilito backs here as well, so LG should be able to get this one relatively free. Rafa might be looking for the steal over the wall here. Doesn't quite land it in time, so Luminosity going to secure that for Xeno.
And once again, Yaman is building a little bit tanky in the start. He's going straight into the Celestial Helmet. He realizes Matt is going to ult in on him at any time possible. So going that physical protection, get that early, a little bit physical protection is going to help him out a lot.
One of the big things, too, is just the fact that this meta has become so early game centric, where there's just so much fighting around the buffs that having the Dynasty Dynasty plate helm, along with the Shoes of the Magi, gives you so much flat pin early when opponents don't have magical protections online, and raw ults just do so much damage when it hits. They're both very cheap, very efficient, and it's probably basically the strongest you could be at 10 minutes.
Gank here onto Barracuda, forced to airstrike away from Adapting and Emilito. Adapting still hanging around, but not going to find anything here. Onto Barracuda, Mast charging the Sonic Boom, perhaps looking for something here. He's going to clear up some farm with his Hunter.
And Mast is farming really well right now. He's ahead of Adapting. I'm really confused how he got that lead, but really good job.
Gold gain boots is a lot of it. Also just Mercury, you know, getting bonus power here. Trouble for Yaman in the mid. He's going to be pulled in by Jeff, knocked up. Rapper rotates around, and LG just going to disengage.
It was fine by Jeff Findler right there. It could have been a possibly kill, but when they saw iRef coming in, they immediately disengaged. That was good.
I'm looking again at these helms that you guys were just going on about. Would it be possible to go to the Dynasty plate helm, the one that gives you crit protection instead, given that there's a Jingwei and Mercury?
I mean, it would actually be a possible choice now when there's a Mercury and a Xingwei in the game, but I'm not sure if they want to invest in that. I actually think Yaman might, but now when he got the other helmet,
it's just so expensive.
Right.
You don't really want to go for it early, and you can see NRG is just trying to force everything they can. They've got a 2K lead. This is okay for LG, mostly because Mast has been farming so efficiently.
And he's farmed so efficiently. He's picked up the Stone Cutting Sword. We saw him do this on a Wheelix. Why do you think he's going this item so early, Trix?
I mean, it's hard to say, but overall, it just gives you the extra movement speed, and which Mercury is really looking for. So, I mean, he really likes the item overall.
It's going to be really hard to lock Mast down. Not only does he have bonus movements, oh, actually trouble for Barra on the left, dashes away. Nice juke on the pin, and the Gust going to force Emilito on the wrong side of this. Barra just going to airstrike away.
That ult was up quick. I thought he just used it.
I think he did, but it must have actually come up that second. Otherwise, Barracuda likely would have ulted right before that.
And look at this now. Luminosity get a chance to invade the speed buff on the right-hand side. Mast dropping the speed there. Looks like Scary D wants to go for the blue buff as well. Dimmy, though, keeping him away from his objective.
Scary D just going to back off here, and LG not slowing down the pace. I really like this. Scary D on the Amaterasu now in a great spot. Has Breastplate of Valor online. Scary D going to pop his ult. Dimmy did waste his blink, and Jeff Hinlow right around the corner as well. Dimmy has Lawbringer, so he should be okay in this. Jeff Hinlow knocked up and pulled through.
Snipe comes through from Yaman as well. Good knock up there for Jeff. Fireshard as well. Jeff in a lot of trouble here between Rapper and Adapting. Sonic Boom from Mast is not going to be able to save Jeff Hinlow. Yes, it is. Scary D comes through. Adapting falls down. Dimmy in a lot of trouble here. Special delivery from Mast. Special delivery is Dimmy. Scary D with the double.
Mast was waiting for that perfect ult. He got the double ultimate, saved Jeff Hindler. So good by Barracuda.
Oh, Yaman in trouble here in the mid lane.
Right now, and he's going to pick up the third for LG.
And I'm not sure what's happening right now. Luminosity gets all the jungle. NRG goes to their side of the jungle, goes aggressive. Luminosity just collapsing onto NRG, doing a really good job.
Emilito, did he walk into that? 1v3 right now. He's actually pushing forward, looking for Xeno. Can't find the basics. Disapparate's going to end, and LG not going to be able to pick him up, but with Jeff Hinless healing, it looks like LG do want to siege this tier 1, and it should be successful. Rapper here on defense does get stunned out here, and got to back off in first tower to Luminosity.
And the red buff here on the left-hand side should fall. Actually, no. Mast didn't drop that. Barracuda forced to airstrike away again from Adapting. Energy could be looking for a little bit of a turnaround here.
Luminosity didn't have to fall back. The Amaterasu is pushing the right lane. He actually got the tower. They got 2 towers, 3 kills. This is great for Luminosity.
Oh, wait, Mast did actually drop that red one, but he left the small creeps there.
Yeah.
And actually, I want to see, okay, so teleport is actually picked up for Scary D on his second relic. I think this is necessary. Sometimes when you see the Wrath picked up first, you'll see the solo laner go into more of a team fighting relic, but because Dimmy has TP as well, it's so important, especially in mid and late game scenarios, to be able to defend against split push possibilities and rotate over for objectives like the Gold Fury.
And I'm so surprised how Mast have been able to make this Mercury early game work out. He's been farming so efficient, and that's why he had so much damage in that last fight.
He's gone a blink here on the Mercury.
Oh, wow.
Well.
So yeah, that's one of actually the biggest weaknesses of Mercury heading into mid and late game is special delivery. You get caught in place, very similar to Circuit ult, where if you're trying to pick someone off and you dash forward aggressively, you have really no way to escape. Your ultimate takes charge time as well, which can be stunned out. And so he wants to basically use special delivery, not for a setup for his team, but an escape only.
I am a little bit confused why he picked it up. Aegis would have been great for him here. The Soul is, he has so much damage that's easy to be Aegis. So I would have liked to see that active instead.
Mid lane here, Mast and Xenotronics just farming up. solo lane side, we can see Scary D a little bit of a lead here over Dimmy now after that double kill earlier.
And adapting really far behind right now, actually 2 levels behind Mast. And Mast has been phenomenal so far this game, not only out-farming adapting after his team got behind early, but also that ult on the right-hand side, just lining it up perfectly.
Gold Fury started now by Luminosity, 50% HP, but they drop it here. They're looking for Rapper, shell pop. There's the taunt in, waiting for the heal. Jeff in, the ultimate hits no one. Dimmy out of nowhere, but the sonic boom comes through. Yaman low, the heals have come through as well, but he's stunned at Emelito, picks up Jeff Inler. Yaman's still low, the heals are enough for now. The snipe comes through, but Barra picks up Yaman, and now he's looking for adapting.
1v4 right now, he's trying to back off. He's got to escape. Emelito trying to chase him down. Xenotronics actually able to help Barracuda turn around. Double for him. Xeno finds one as well. It's only iRaptor left alive right now at the Gold Fury. He's going to get picked off. Adapting bails out, and it's going to be LG 7-3 in a Gold Fury at 14 minutes.
NRG just overextending that fight. They could have gone out 1 for 1. Instead, they decide to choose tunnel visioning way too hard on Barracuda is Emelito, and he ends up dying, so all the damage from NRG is gone, and they just end up winning that fight really easy.
For me, it was Mast. It was all Mast there.
Again.
Perfect ultimate, perfect special delivery, and just so much damage.
I want to talk not only about Mast, but Xeno and Mast, because both ultimates we've seen immediately followed up by Clay Soldiers and Fire Shards to Shining Metal to explode them. So much damage in those kind of condensed areas. You can see just on the top side of the Gold Fury, it's so hard to avoid that.
Mast definitely was the player of that fight. He went in, took all the aggro, so Barracuda could just easily ult in and just do whatever he wanted to.
Farming in the middle lane again is Luminosity. They now find themselves with about a 4,000 gold lead here over, it's crazy to say, over the defending world champions, NRG.
And look at the confidence coming out of Scary D right now, able to steal away that blue buff. A confident Scary is actually an incredibly scary Scary. He's so good from ahead. You know, we talked about his inconsistency, but this tournament he's been great. And when he has a lead, you really start to see him apply the pressure like he's doing.
And look at him, he's got a full item lead over Dimmy.
Right, he is so far ahead at this point, and as we said earlier, if Luminosity made it into the early game, it would be horrible for NRG. The Nuwa pick is going to be so strong later.
And
I think the secret to this world has been the sick teams have won. You know, last year, Dimmy was incredibly sick during Worlds. They ended up winning. This year, Ataraxia super sick, they beat Eager. Barracuda super sick, they're winning against NRG.
I think it also has something to do with the Luminosity. They expected nothing going into this. They were the underdog, so they're really calm playing against NRG. They're expected to lose. They have no pressure on their shoulder. Meanwhile, NRG, they're expected to win every single time.
And, I mean, they have not shown any weakness in a long time. NRG is not a team, though, that gets behind and the game's over. They're one of the best teams, I think, actually, at coming back from behind. Gank onto Dimmy here. He's going to try and Lawbringer away. Good juke for now, buying a lot of time for him. And here comes the rotation from the rest of NRG.
Fire shots come through. Adapting's here as well to try and save the life of his solo laner. Dimmy managed to heal up there with the Fearless, and so that was at the cost of the blink of Mast, but otherwise, nothing doing.
Very good by Luminosity there. Just stop taking that fight.
Barracuda there going in 1v1, forcing out the immediate frames and the Sanctuary of Emelito there. A little bit of a taunt at the tower now as well.
Emelito, man. Welcome back to Worlds. Barra's here to play against you, and Barracuda has been the cornerstone of this LG roster all season.
The BM taunt, even though I think what there's in that taunt is the fact that when you taunt, it actually kills you a little bit. So now when they're ahead, just keep them down, keep them down.
And this is, yeah, I mean, NRG very rarely on the back foot at the very least. When they do lose games, it's typically they're even, and then, they'll lose a late game team fight. And I'm interested to see how NRG try and recover. We haven't really seen Adapting be a part of any fights. He's been farming, but still just not really gaining that much.
Looking at Mast, despite the fact that he is this Mercury that can be this hyper carry, he's 0, 0, and 7, a part of every single kill that Luminosity has got.
And he's got Deathbringer online right now. This is such a good spot for Mast to be, especially multiple levels up against the Yaman specifically. He's really just going to be looking to try and poke out and look for some RNG crits.
And the thing about Luminosity's combo right now is the fact that they have to kill the Mercury and they have to kill the Nuwa, but they need to choose one target. When they can't do that, one of them is just going to go off in the team fights.
And at this point, it basically has to be Mast because he didn't invest in the Sanctuary. He went for the Blink instead. Charging Sonic Boom, oh no, just off the mark of Yaman.
The wall.
That extra, also the extra MS, I think, from Yaman's passive just allowing him to barely escape around that corner.
But Luminosity is just keeping their aggressiveness up right now. They want to keep this lead. They want to advance it, looking for all NRG spots right now. They're just doing a really good job getting a lead.
And they're not overcommitting either. You know, we saw NRG do that themselves, trying to invade the speed on the right-hand side, and at that Gold Fury fight, just kind of not respecting the Mercury pick and his ability to disrupt a team fight. When you're so focused, you know, on trying to pick off one player, you'll typically group up around them, and Masters just found the perfect sonic booms every single fight.
Big for me as well has been Barracuda's domination of this left-hand side of the map.
He's level 19 right now at 18 minutes, doing a great job of farming. And because Hunters are left alone for so long, you really do see them able to kind of box out and get big leads.
And we finally see the first weakening curse against the Ra, because the heal European is so good at using that Ra heal. So having that weakening curse is going to do big things for Luminosity.
It's also going to allow Mast to catch up to them because it gives them because it slows the enemies as well.
And yeah, Master's super fast right now. Stone Cutting Sword. He's got, you know, bonus movement speed from his shoes when he's not in combat. Gold Fury going to be started up here. NRG see what's going on right now. Scaredy on top. Dimmy over the top. And NRG steal away the Gold Fury. Barracuda finds the first kill in the fight. Jeff Hindla pulled into the backline, allowing him to vault. And now Yaman's left alone.
Barracuda's got himself a double here. They're looking for more blood here. Luminosity Mast in the mid lane, but no. NRG disengaged beautifully with their 2 kills there for the price of a Gold Fury.
Luminosity is going to be able to seize this down, or they're actually going to go to the Fire Giant now. But Luminosity didn't have to lose that Gold Fury. They could have reset it and got the same amount of kills.
To have the damage here with Mast and Barracuda. NRG don't really know what's going on. It's under 25% Dimmy coming in. NRG stealing. Dinatronics gets Dimmy. Barracuda picks up Adapting, but the Fire Giant is stolen away by NRG Esports. Emilito, though, the only one with the buff.
Once again, Luminosity could have gotten that objective as well. If they just notice the actives, go for them instead of staying on that objective. They don't have any hawk. They have no secure. Go for the enemies, then go for the objective.
Really good job right now by LG. This actually, it almost doesn't even matter because 2 players got picked up there, they're able to take this tier 2 for free. Sonic Boom straight to the back line, right on top of Yaman. Mass looking to fight. He's taking the Phoenix though, and he's got to get out.
Just Scary D, dazzling offensive, stuns out 2. Middle Phoenix falls, LG disengage. NRG though, chasing them back down the mid lane. Heals come through from Jeff Hindla. NRG need to be careful here that Luminosity don't turn around.
And right now it just seems like NRG doesn't have any damage. It's only Melissa really doing anything in the damage-wise, and Yaman being a healing buff right now. And on the same time, Erlang is behind. He do not do any damage. He only have the setup. So I'm not sure what NRG is going to do to win these fights.
It's got to come from Yaman at this point, but you can see he's only level 16. He has barely any penetration online outside of the Dynasty Plate Helm and the boots early on. Picking up Rod of Asclepius, it's a very expensive item and a great utility item, but it does delay his damage.
Talk to me a little bit about this Bloodforge we just did Mast pick up here, Trix.
Bloodforge?
Right after the Deathbringer.
Oh, that's an interesting item. I'm not sure what Mast is building. He have a really interesting build.
So he actually hasn't got a kill yet, but Bloodforge is interesting. It's a great lifesteal item, and it has a lot of power here. The biggest thing right now is that his ranged poke, along with Deathbringer and the 75 flat power on Bloodforge is going to do so much damage. This is just enhancing the Deathbringer crits.
Left-hand side, Luminosity pushing down the tier 1 tower here. NRG giving this one up for free. They might be able to defend the tier 2. It's crazy to think that they're the ones with Fire Giant, but Luminosity are the ones getting the pressure.
I think it's actually better that was stolen away because Dimmy and Adapting got picked up, allowing those fire minions to go through after the Phoenix was picked up.
Oh, Scary D pulled in there by Adapting. A lot of damage coming through from Yaman. Fireside to the air. Dimmy goes through as well. Knock up from Jeff Hindla, keeps his team alive. Mast in the backline, wreaking havoc. Xenotronics picks up Dimmy as well. Mast going ham here in the backline. Oh my goodness, the damage there is filthy.
And Mast is doing so much work in these fights. He's going to the backline, trying to kill everybody. I really like the call for Luminosity, sieging this down. They have the perfect siege comp. They have a Mercury, they have a Nuad, they have heals. They have everything they need to siege.
22 minutes in, 13-3, LG with an 8,000 gold lead. 2 Phoenixes down. They have been playing so well, and just think, I mean, the start of this game was Xenotronics getting invaded, getting picked off for first blood. We thought NRG was going to keep up the aggression. I'm going to go back to that one mistake we saw. Yaman missing his ult on Jeff Hindla in the mid lane forced NRG to have to retreat back. They weren't able to try and steal that speed buff.
But it didn't really give them a huge backfire, NRG. I think it comes down to the fact that we finally seen a jungle that can keep up with Adapting. keep up with the farm, keep up with everything, and that's the reason why they're doing good right now.
1,130 crit right now. Okay, Mass. Swinging pretty hard. That's probably Yaman's entire health pool.
Oh, he caught Rafa there at the longest range possible. Sprint comes through from the support of NRG, but Scary D's chasing him down. Dazzling Offensive comes through. Oh, the crit's there, but he doesn't quite pick up the kill onto Rafa yet. The turtle form comes through. LG just chasing away Rafa so they can pick up this tower on the right-hand side. There's some split push coming through the middle from NRG.
NRG realizes that they are done for this game. They're trying to get some gold in, but Luminosity is just going to run through the
LG
base.
could win this. Yeah, NRG have to back. You can see them all backing right now. Mast, look at Mast. Mast is ready. This has been probably the one tournament where we've seen teams so anxious to win. Eager last set, we saw it. We saw it from MOBA as well, where teams just really want to try and force it, and it has turned against them in a lot of situations. Jeff Hinla caught there. It's going to be trouble for him. There's no one left around him. He just kind of backed a little bit late, but the root actually, he's going to keep running and adapting here, trying to cut him off. But look at this. Every one of NRG members committing so much. Yaman's ult, Imolito's ult, so much invested into killing him.
Even though he was alone, they had to use so much to kill him. And that just shows how far ahead Luminosity is. They have 3 Phoenixes down, they're so far ahead, and NRG doesn't even have the late game. At this point, NRG is over.
And if there's one thing we know about Jeff Hinley, it's that he's a great communicator, so you can be sure that all of Luminosity know that those ultimates are down.
Right, and even the kill on Jeff Hinley, it's really not going to do anything. They're just going to wait it out and then go for the Fire Giant and take the large siege down and then go to the Titan.
Gold Fury here going to be looked at by LG. I mean, why not? Just take away any potential comeback mechanic that NRG could exploit.
I like what LG are doing right now, but they do need to be a little bit careful. They're actually splitting up. Gold Fury picked up by 2. You saw 2 members of the Fire Giant, but they're just allowed to do this because of the fire waves that are pouring in on both the left side and the right side.
And I think what NRG failed in this game is basically giving Sinotronic the game back, giving him all the farm he needed and everything he needed to come back in this game.
Fire Giant going to be surrounded by Luminosity. You can see Raffer on the left trying to defend against fire waves. And you can see the fire waves on the right-hand side. NRG, I mean, if they invest in this, maybe be careful, but it's already down. Dimmy doesn't even know. He's got to blink away. Mass charging Sonic Boom. Looking for Dimmy here, who's still hanging around.
Blink there into special delivery. Jeff Hinley gets the pull. Dimmy getting bursted down here. No chance to get away. Mars picks up the kill onto Dimmy, and now Luminosity looking for the middle Phoenix and looking for the end.
Luminosity looking so good against NRG. I don't know what happened to them, but they're doing so good right now.
LG come into this as the 4th seed in North America. They required another team to get them to the SMITE World Championships. And in the semifinals against the defending world champions, Barracuda, Jeff